Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice was Ninja Theory's last venture into the epic story-driven games they're known for. Some of my favorite games from them are Enslaved and Heavenly Sword. They really take advantage of the latest motion and facial capture technology, and Hellblade was no different. The introduction of the crisp stereo sound from whispers from someone suffering from psychosis and visual hallucinations was an amazing experience. But I was surprised and excited to hear that they're working on Senua Saga Hellblade II, and now the wait is over. Xbox has provided us with a review copy of the game. Thank you, by the way. And here is my review on the latest from Ninja Theory, Senua Saga Hellblade 2. The first thing you probably notice about Senua's Saga is its graphical upgrade. And goddamn, is it an upgrade. This is probably the most realistic I've ever seen a game. Environment, facial animations, movement, water, weather, just all of it. There is a lot of divisive discussion on how these new gen consoles have not really shown its full potential and power, and especially with exclusives. This game shows it in all its glory. Even with the games that like to show off their graphics, I tend to just power through to get through the next area, not really minding the scenery. But this game, I had to stop and look for a while, take it in, because I was just that amazed. It also doesn't help that the game has a photo mode with lots to play around with. And what adds to the realism is its actual scans and art style based on real Icelandic / Norse clothing, weapons, architecture, and more. Just as impressive is the sound design. The game recommends you wear headphones, and so do I. The game is completely playable without it, but you get the whole immersive experience with headphones. The environmental sounds, the grunts, whispers, and footsteps of enemies, the voices in Senua's head, it all does an amazing job creating a tense atmosphere. It makes you feel like something could pop out at any moment and attack you. The audio and visual combined create a very significant on-edge immersion. Now, the combat is simple, but fun and challenging at times. You've got your light attack, heavy attack, block, and dodge. Eventually, you'll have an item that charges and will slow down enemies, giving you enough time to mash the attack button and kill them pretty much immediately. Some enemies will only go down using this item. What I love the most about the combat is that there are a bunch of enemy types with very different patterns and styles to their fighting. So you need to remember and adjust when things get heated when you're fighting one enemy after another consecutively. Senua's combat focuses on tense one-on-one battles, and just like the first game, if you die too often, the game will restart and save file deleted. Yes, that's a bit extreme, but the game isn't that hard to where you have to worry about it too much. There really isn't much to the combat. I do, however, appreciate one thing about the UI of the game, the fact that there isn't any. I don't think I've seen one prompt on screen the entire time. Nothing for opening a door, talking to a person, climb a ledge, not even during the early part of the game, which could be considered the tutorial. The first boss battle with the slaver was long, yet it really gets you learning those controls fast so you don't die. It also helps build more of that tension I mentioned before. Am I dying? Am I doing this right? Can I search or open this? This is how I felt while learning the controls. It doesn't hold your hand one time, and it adds to the immersion. Senua's story continues with her traveling to another land to help save slaves that were captured in her original homeland. You'll eventually meet some characters on the way that help move along the story and the plot, as well as the main enemies, the giants. These giants are probably the most grotesque and creepiest monster designs I have seen in a long time. The voice acting, along with the realism and design, makes these creatures really terrifying. So now I have to talk about the game's shortcomings. As majestic and epic the story is, I found myself zoning out quite a few times while holding forward on the joystick. There is a lot of pointless walking. Now, a lot of players will think this adds to the world building. I see it as a waste of assets and development time. There's a lot of open, unused space, a lot of walking for no reason while listening to those damn voices go on and on with nothing else to do. What they could have done with a lot of the empty environments is have fun messing with the players. Make the game play tricks on them like Senua's visual delusions and voices mess with her. It would have created even more tension and caution while the player is moving on to the next area. When it comes to open areas, the game is just as linear, short, and straightforward as the last game. Now, not every game needs to be open world, and I wouldn't want this to be one, but aside from a few hidden collectibles with dialogue, Ninja Theory really should have opened things up a bit with paths taken while filling in these paths with other things to do or see. The game is about 7-ish hours long. You can potentially beat it in one sitting. There's nothing wrong with a short game. Ninja Theory still does an incredible job doing what they set out to do, which is give an epic continuation to Senua's Saga. Unfortunately, the game and puzzles can be a bit too easy aside from a few combat encounters. Overall, this game is all about the story, and Ninja Theory still really showcases that with its A+ sound design, environment, and graphics. But with the length of time and money spent on this sequel, I feel like there could have or should have been more than what was just offered from the first game, aside from upgraded graphics. Please don't misunderstand, don't get me wrong. I love this game. I was not disappointed with its delivery, just the content. I think that's a mark of a good game to want more than just what was offered, rather than just say the game sucked because it was short and there's nothing to do. I would absolutely recommend this for anyone who's played the first game and for anyone who has Game Pass. As for buying it, I would probably wait on that when there are more games out there that can offer more story and content, albeit with less graphical quality, but that's not always what's important to some gamers. Play the first game, it's an amazing piece, and so is this one. Senua Saga Hellblade II gets a 4 out of 5 stars from me.